Welcome, Lions. Another episode of Lions Den. Today's interesting because before I even get started on anything, I know a couple guys are trickling in. They messaged me that they're going to be a couple minutes late, but I got to just start off with an incredible story. This is just miraculous how, first of all, this was achieved. Now, some of you were following, and a lot of you guys messaged as well in the text message going like, yo, like, that's crazy that you did this whole trip. But I just wanted to give a small little update on what happened just this last weekend, because I am back in this beautiful city of Tampa Bay. Look at this background today. This is the other side of my office, although it is a little hurricaned out, which, it was a bad hurricane, actually. It was really, really bad here, and they finally got cleaned up. So just, all that goes out to all the people that, were affected by the hurricane. It was serious damage. But how did we come here? Why did we come here? Last Saturday, we decided to make a decision. And I made a decision because I was shipping my new vehicle that I just bought. I just bought a new Ford Bronco, okay? And I'm shipping it to Florida because it's a Ford Bronco type of vehicle. I get the shipping company set up, $1,000 from Montana. So I got to drive 4 hours from Calgary, drop it off there. They're going to ship it, and then I was going to fly out and good to go. The day of, I have all my flights booked. Everything is good. They call me up. The driver just canceled. It's actually going to be $4,800 for the next driver. I'm like, how do you go from $1,000 to $4,800 in one, like within, and I have my flight booked, everything's ready to go. So I'm like, you know what? Let's make a decision, a bold decision. I was like, let's just drive 43 hours. It's a 43-hour trip straight. So what do? I jumped in my vehicle. I drove 18 hours straight from Calgary to Minneapolis. I flew JC into Minneapolis. He meets me there. He drives 15 hours down the States. We get all the way down. I do another 18 hours or about 15 hours there. Boom, we get to Florida. No hotels, no breaks, just full throttle. It was the most intense. We filled up about, I think, 10 times, 10, 11 times to the gas station. I give this guy a lot of respect. JC, I want to give you a shout out there, man. Like it was mental game to do that, to push that hard. And what I want to share about this story before we get started on today's call was something really, really, really powerful. The first 10 hours that I had inside that vehicle, when I first started my journey in Calgary, Alberta, and I clicked the timer, I was like, all right, I'm in my home city and I'm driving to the city that I now live. I've created my home in, right? This is going to be about, 3,100 miles? I'm going to drive across. The first 10 hours was so powerful, gentlemen, because guess what I did? I didn't listen to music. I didn't listen to a podcast. I did nothing besides listen to the noise of my own thoughts, my prayers, and how I was speaking to myself and God. It was the most magical moment. It was almost like being like caging yourself in a box, feeling like in a cell, so to speak, to bringing back my memories. But I'm the most freest position of having a vehicle and I'm driving across the continent. The most forever lasting peace that I received in 48 hours of that entire drive and coming and making here Monday night. And then, of course, starting off Tuesday. And we're going to talk about Tuesday morning because I set some pretty fantastic goals for myself this month. And I'm going to challenge you guys towards the end of this call to join me on this quest, to take the initiative, take the chance to bank on yourself, because we're going to talk about some amazing things today. And I just want you guys to really understand, one of the biggest things that I took away from this whole journey and this trip, first was, you got to set a target. You got to set a journey. I had to go from Calgary and I had to put in the GPS to Tampa and I had to have the destination, right? That was one of the most focal parts. Like, you have to have something to look towards. The second piece now was, the journey is only so great until you can find people to enjoy it with. So by God's grace, JC pops out. Me and him take half the trip together, and we ended up really being able to connect on the business level and understanding some of the clients and what we're doing. And it was just, again, spiritual connection. And the third and final point was giving ourselves the pat on the back moment, because we made it. We did it. Our goal was before October 1st. We said we're going to push it in 48 hours. We pushed ourselves mentally, physically, emotionally. We didn't eat that much either, which was a little bit bad, but we were just like determined to get to Florida. But it was just the atmosphere of us being able to accomplish that goal. And what's so important about that, guys, is that this is why we connect. This is why we come together on Thursday at Lions Den. It's not only just for me to share my experiences, but for you to learn some experience from it. And again, towards the end, I would love for you guys to chime in, share in some Q&A, comments, questions, anything, so we can really make this a part of us learning and growing. Last week, guys, I just want to pre-frame last week because last week was quite interesting where we talked a lot about communication. We talked a lot about one-on-one. We talked a lot about one to few, one to many, and how we can actually communicate and articulate to others. We looked into, not talking shit. And when I say not talking shit, I mean like believing what you say, truly wholeheartedly believing what you say and honoring your word within it. We learned how to listen. Remember those 2 ears and 1 mouth? We remembered to listen more than anything. And the last one was, of course, that ego, because us men, we're prone to it. We got an ego. We all understand that. It's just a matter of now understanding how I can actually utilize it. Where am I using the ego that's actually causing negativity to my world? And where can I be using ego as the confidence to really bring me into the lion state that I deserve to be in? So today, I really thought, and this week, the real main theme and topic has been the word leadership. And when I say leadership, I mean, what is leadership? Let's just ask ourselves that question for a second. What is leadership? Now, by definition, it's the act of leading a group or organization, by definition. Now, what I say about that is absolutely a group or organization. So what could a group or organization be? Well, for us men specifically, we have to be leaders at home, at our home. Whether you have a wife, kids, family, even parents, you have to be a leader at home. That's your home life. You have to be a leader in the business or your professionalism. You have to be a leader inside that realm, being able to, guide yourself in the right way. And that brings me to my last point, personally. Being a leader personally, how are you leading yourself? That's the real question. Because we focus so much on trying to lead others, leading our families, leading our teams, leading everything, but we stop to really think deep and hard on how am I leading myself? How am I truly leading myself now? Now, when we look at this, how do the greats become great? If you think about it, how do the greats become great? They become great because they can conquer mind. They can conquer mind. They can understand up here on leading themselves in the right direction, pointing, guiding, and then actually following themselves. Now, what's interesting about this now is that why do some fall short? Like, what could it be that could allow somebody to now fall short on being the leader, the lion that they deserve to be? Now, over my years, I'll tell you through my experiences, it's so interesting to see different ups, downs, failures, successes, from million-dollar buildings being built to failure businesses losing hundreds of thousands of dollars and everything in between. But what the most important thing that I want everyone today on this call to imagine with me is imagine your story. Imagine your story as a movie. Imagine your story as a movie. And in this movie, of course, like classic movies, there's usually a hero and there's usually a villain. Now, of course, we can be either or. We can. But today, for today's reason, I want you to understand who the fuck is that villain? Who is that villain that you are fighting against? And when I say that, some people could think of others, not the right answer. Who is that villain within yourself that you are fighting? Like, I'm talking about that worst piece of shit version of you that you constantly fight to avoid, because we all know how to be successful. You can read Napoleon Hill, you can watch YouTube videos. There's plenty of successful tactics and techniques and steps to achieve everything. So we all know that there's steps that we could easily take, but why don't we do them? Why do we simply stop ourselves from actually doing what it takes to be successful, to be happy? Now, it's this villain topic. This villain is interesting because this villain is created in our minds because that villain of you is the one that's making you sit on the couch and do nothing. It's the one that's telling you should be doing the task, but you don't do it. It's the one that's got you drinking or smoking or jerking off or doing something that that isn't going to help you move forward, but you continue to do it. That villain is strong. Now, some may call it the devil. Some may call it other names, but for today's purpose, I really want you to understand the story between the hero and the villain. Now, there was an old saying, an old chief was speaking to his young grandson, and he brought the grandson over and he said, I want to tell you a story. There's in the forest, there's two wolves, there's two alpha wolves, and one wolf One wolf is mean. He's filled with ego and jealousy and hatred, and he's ready to prowl. And the other one is filled with joy and love and amazing energy. And he said they're in this disputed battle. Whenever they fight, they will just go at each other. And the little boy looks up at the chief and he says, "Who wins the fight?" And the chief said, "The one you feed." So in our minds, we have a hero and we have a villain, and we have these two wolves, so to speak, in our heads. And I want you to understand the one you feed is the one that is going to win. When it comes to being a leader, however, now this is very, very interesting, because when you become a leader, you have to start to understand that leadership comes from you understanding how you wake up in the morning and act to those negativities and those battle scars that you're going up against. See, that villain version of you that wants to keep you playing small, that villain version of you that's like, not today. Like, I don't feel like it. To be honest, it blew my mind. I just recently committed to this amazing thing called October Sober, which is I'm doing no drinking. I'm hitting the gym every single day for 30 days and plus. But it's a quest that I just made recently, and why I wanted to be back in Tampa for the first. And I did this because it was a psychological game with myself, because the villain in me was acting up. The fucking villain inside of my head was acting up, and it was allowing me to think that if I go and have a drink after my work day, that I'm all good to go. I get to decompress. I get to go socialize with people. I get to go sit down at the bar and connect with somebody that could be a potential client. That villain version of me created this fucking obsolete mindset inside of me, thinking that it's going to be okay to do this kind of stuff, when at the end of the day, I would say to myself about the gym, no, I don't feel like it. What do you mean I don't feel like it? You don't feel like it? So you can, and I'm talking to myself here, and I want you guys to understand the way that I was talking to myself. So you don't feel like going to the gym, but you decide to poison yourself instead. Like, logically, does that fundamentally make sense? So what this got me to really start to understand is you could be making money. You can be making money. You can be living your life. You can be doing some incredible things when it comes to enjoying. But as a leader, you have to understand that sometimes there's vices. Sometimes this villain comes out in certain ways, and in the most strategic ways. He comes out from deep, dark corners, and he comes out from different ways to be able to manipulate you as a leader of your home. Not coming home on time, not honoring your word with the family. When it comes to business, when it comes to professional, being able to attend but not really be present, right? Knowing that you have to make sales calls, but you decide to get busy with emails. The hard things in life are hard, but the thing is that when we focus as a leader and we start to understand that it's making a decision up here, it's making a decision up here to say, fuck my feelings. Fuck my feelings. It's my duty to show up. This morning, I made a post on my story, and I went to the gym, and right after the gym, I was like, it just came to me. I was like, it's my duty. And that's never clicked in my head like it has this morning. And I want to share that with all the Lions on the call today. It's my duty. If I ever speak to myself and I say, I don't feel like going to the gym, that means I don't feel like training my body. I don't feel like doing my duty as a man, because it is your duty as a man to train yourself. It is your duty to be able to train yourself and to be the best, strongest version of yourself. Because if you can't train yourself, it don't matter about the money. The wealth doesn't matter. Take it from somebody like myself that's achieved wealth in my life at a scale that's incredible. But still, in my mind today, it clicked on me that if I'm not training my body every single day, it's not even worth it. It doesn't matter. This body of ours, I'll tell you right now, by the way, is worth $6 million. Like parts, I'm saying. Our body's parts. I mentioned that on another call, and I was saying that to somebody like, what? Like $6 million. Now, of course, there's some cases out there that are talking about, trafficking. I'm not going into that level, but I'm saying like your physical body itself. Kobe's like, oh shit, he's bringing him up. He's been, but no, like our body's actually physically worth about $6 million with all parts and labor, so to speak. So that's interesting to see that it's a $6 million machine that we've been gifted from God right now. It's our duty, gentlemen, to wake up and train this body. It's our duty, like no questions asked. Mr. Brown's in the house, and Mr. Brown knows exactly that, because I look up to Mr. Brown a lot. His posts are incredible because he's constantly showing up to his body. He's showing up to his mindset. He's getting clear with this every single day before anything else. That's the power of being a leader. That's the power of being a lion. So I ask you guys, who's your villain? Who's the villain? Because I know we all have one. Now here's 3 simple steps that I want to give you to combat that villain, so that you can be in the game when villain comes up, you're ready to go. You're at least in defense. You have attack mode ready to go. You got something behind you. The first one is list it out. Actually write it physically down. Write down that villain. What does that villain make you do? Is that villain making you lazy? Okay, how is he making you lazy? What is that villain doing that's causing you the shit that you know deep inside is wrong anyways? There's no bullshitting that. You know exactly what it is, but you need to write it down. You need to actually list it out and evaluate it so that you can create an avatar so that you can actually get into the fight every single day the right way, not just fighting a ghost. Because most of us, we wake up and we fight a ghost. Well, it could be my insecurity, it could be my ego, it could be this, it could be that. No. Let's classify that villain. Let's put some parameters around that villain, and let's now look and analyze that villain. The second thing is creating that optimal schedule. I'm so anally charged when it comes to freaking schedule. I tell you this now, JC knows, my team knows, every single block, every single calendar, but your precision on your schedule. That is something it doesn't need to be 4 a.m. like me. It can be 7 a.m., it can be 9 a.m., it can be whatever, but you have to have consistency to your schedule. That is the number, just make that a top priority for you before work, before managing tasks, before managing your team, before thinking of anything. Where's my time? Where is my time going? Where's my 24 hours in a day? Where's my 1,440 minutes? Where's my 86,400 seconds? Where am I measuring that? And then have blocks. This is my family block. This is my work block. This is my me personal block that I need to just focus on me. That's why I do 4 a.m. From 4 to 7 is really my time. I got 3 hours to myself, gym, personal meditation, reading a book, getting myself in check, doing my internal morning routine, which is what I call it, getting everything all ready to go before I have to go and show up to the team and show up to the world. And the last and final point that you use to combat this is, obviously I can always say, don't ever quit. And I say that statement a little light because it's not just about not ever quitting. It's actually understanding that God is watching. God wants you to become the best version of yourself. You are the best version of yourself in his eyes. But at the end of the day, he's not going to favor you if you're not pushing yourself as a fucking man. If you're not pushing yourself to becoming better, and you're not pushing yourself to actually make a positive impact in the world, what is really the point? From whatever religion we're in, whatever religion, they all speak really the same generalized, common language. And that it's actually just being a good person and going out and helping others and not killing and not stealing and not doing the wrong things in life. So when we understand this and we can actually put this into place and actually understand that we have the power ourselves, men, every single day to know when that villain comes, am I combating that villain or am I just getting beaten up? From today forward, I want you to wake up, every single man on this call and those that are going to watch in the recording. I want you to be able to wake up tomorrow morning and just know he's coming. Am I ready? Like, did I train for this? Am I training to fight him right now? Or am I going to just sit down and just maybe tomorrow, maybe I'll go train harder. Maybe I'll try again. The word try, hate the word try. But gentlemen, when we look at this tomorrow morning and we look at this each and every single day, I want you guys to really, really take into consideration this hero villain, because your story is your unique story. Your story has the ability to create your future if you now know how to share it, if you know how to show it, if you know how to go out there and connect with people. I was just at an event just last night. It was an incredible event where they're basically doing Art Basel in Tampa now. It's a very, very high exclusive. It was VIP invite only. And what was so powerful about it is that they were able to really connect the right group of people together. They got the right group of people together. They put them together, and all of a sudden magic was created. And why I say that is that when you have the right people in the right room and you're able to learn from one another, it's why we show up here every single week. Every single week we show up here because we are coming on 3 simple words that I always like to express to the gentlemen on the call: brotherhood, blessings, and breakthroughs. The brotherhood is between men. The only time we look down at another man is when we're picking him back up. The blessings are from above. And the breakthroughs may be something I say tonight, but it may be something another lion says tonight. But be open to those breakthroughs. Put the ego aside and get into the world and actually be able to express yourselves. And what we do, again, of course, is the weekly call here at 8 o'clock. We have an amazing quarterly event that I just want to quickly touch base on. It's going to be happening at the end of this month. So for those of you that are around the Tampa area, the 19th of this month, you're more than welcome to just come out here, Tampa, hang out. Let's just talk. Let's be in person, and let's really bring this Lion energy to another level. Gentlemen, Lions, we've come to the end. It's 9 p.m. and I want to say thank you. Thank you for being here today, continuing to show up for yourselves, showing up as the Lion that you deserve to be. Hopefully you got some good nuggets out of today, but as we learned on this call, it is not about the nuggets. Y'all know what to do and how to do it. It's a matter of actually implementing it and changing your own life, building yourself into that king that you deserve to be. So thank you, gentlemen. I will see you guys next week at 8 p.m. on the Lion's Den. Respect and love.